Welcome to Viva, New Mexico. I'm your host, Jamie B. With me today is someone who is very well known in the New Mexico film industry, James Blackburn. James, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
it. Man. I understand today we're going to talk about your show, The James Blackburn Experience. Now, for people discovering this for the first time, what is the James Blackburn Experience?
Well, I guess the best way to explain the James Blackburn Experience is to give a little bit of the history about it first. I started the YouTube channel on November 29th, 2011. Why do I remember that date? It's also my 41st birthday. And originally, I started the James Blackburn Experience. It wasn't called that. It was called the James Blackburn Daily Video Update Experiment. It was a mouthful. But the first year I did the channel, I had this idea that I was going to document every day of an entire year to show the ups and downs of working in the movie business or trying to survive in the entertainment industry. As you know, sometimes it's hit or miss for getting work.
Kind of a behind the scene.
Yeah. And so I decided I'm going to document an entire year from birthday to birthday. And I did it. I did 367 days in a row without missing a day.
Wow. That's impressive.
And after that whole year was done, I was like, I enjoyed that. But working a full-time job at a grocery store at night while working in movies during the day and trying to produce a brand new video every day for 367 days in a row, there's no other word to use other than exhausting. I enjoyed it and it was great and I learned a lot, but it also taught me moderation, that sometimes you don't have to do a video every day to document your life.
Yeah.
So I took a break after that year and I don't think I put another video on that channel probably for another 6 months or a year. I didn't even know if I was going to continue to do anything with that channel. And so after documenting the year, I thought, I still feel like I need to make more videos. And I really like this documenting my life sort of thing. I don't know why I do it. It just kind of felt right. So I started doing it. I started making new videos, but I thought, James Blackburn Daily didn't sound like a good YouTube channel name because I think a lot of people thought my last name was Daily.
Yeah.
They didn't know I meant daily videos.
Generic.
So I changed it at that point after thinking about it for a while. I was like, what's a good name for what my channel represents about me? And the James Blackburn Experience was born then. And it really truly is the James Blackburn Experience. Anything that I experience in life might end up on the channel.
That's great. That's great. Can you tell us about the type of video on your channel?
I noticed early on when I was making the videos, if I was whining or being negative in the videos, it just didn't feel right. It felt like there's enough problems in this world already. Why whine and complain about things that maybe I can't fix to begin with?
It's a tune-out, yeah.
Yeah, and so I decided at one point I was in a hotel room and I was complaining about working a really long day on a TV show. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm in a hotel room, I'm working on a TV show. Yeah, it was a long day, but I'm living the dream, man.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm not going to do negative videos on my channel anymore. I'm going to do positive, uplifting videos that highlight parts of my life, but also show the beauty of nature, especially in New Mexico.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in New Mexico.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad you're doing it.
So on my channel, I literally do document almost all nature videos. However, because I do work in the movie industry as an actor and a filmmaker, I do have behind the scenes videos from set sometimes that I put on my channel. I also have behind the scenes of the New Mexico Gunfighters Association, which for folks out there, if you don't know what that is, it's an Old West gunfighter group that does live street performances, comedy shows that are family friendly. I've been a member for a long time. So we travel and tour sometimes with the group in different communities around the Southwest, and I will document behind the scenes of that as well. But as far as behind the scenes of movies and behind the scenes of the gunfighter group, that makes up about 25% of my channel. The other 75% is all nature. backpacking, hiking, canoeing, rock climbing. And so really my channel is mostly about me being outdoors with a little bit of other things, squeezed in here and there in between.
What do you find more satisfying?
I find the outdoors more satisfying, even though I do love the industry that we work in. I love being in the entertainment industry. I love being a gunfighter. Those are awesome parts of my life. But I don't know, outdoors calls me. And I think it's because it's nature for me is an antidepressant.
Yeah.
I always say it
Definitely.
recharges my
Yes.
spiritual batteries to go back and deal with the concrete jungle. And so if you gave me my choice, like, hey, James, what do you want to do today film wise? Well, let's go to the mountains and make a video, because I would walk away from that feeling better mentally and physically. And then a lot of times you get to share it with a friend, and
Recharge.
that's part of it too. Yeah.
Getting recharged. Are there any highlights that you remember from your video adventures?
Really, there's always fun moments that you can pick out along the way. But the first one I'd like to talk about is San Pedro Park's wilderness. That is a wilderness here in New Mexico. It's up by Cuba. It's all high elevation from 8,500 to 10,500 feet. So it's all aspens and pine trees, and it's over 41,000 acres of backpacking delight with water sources everywhere year round. And it's not a mountaintop, though. It's a plateau at 10,000 feet. I love it because it feels like you're in Lord of the Rings when you're there, because that's that kind of forest. That's old school growth, thick forest where sometimes the sun doesn't even make it to the ground in the forest. So I would definitely say I've been to San Pedro Park's wilderness 4 times now since 2020, and I'm planning another trip very soon to go there with a friend. And I would say that's a highlight because it's such a beautiful place, and it's perfect for backpacking experiences because you have water year round. Another highlight would be the complete opposite of that. At San Pedro Parks, we have wilderness with trees and creeks. The opposite of that would be Ojito Wilderness up by San Ysidro. That is another big wilderness, but it's all desert. So there's not really much water there. But there's something about it that pulls me to it. There's a trail there called the Hoodoo Pines. If you've never been on it, I suggest hiking it. There's hoodoos and there's pines. It's a desert with ponderosa pines mixed in.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and every year I go back there. We just did a trip there last week for my 10th year in a row. So I've slept in the Ojito Wilderness on at least 15 or 16 different days over the last 10 years. And it's a highlight because, one, it's beautiful and it's weird. The rock formations, as you know what hoodoos are, they look man-made, but they're not. It's just weird rock formations. It pulls me there, but it's more than that. There's also dinosaur finds out there and dinosaur fossils that they found over the years. Plus, there's a big native history there as well. So there's so much that pulls me there: the beauty, the history, the formations. It's just, the Ojito Wilderness is definitely a highlight. If it wasn't, I wouldn't go back 10 years in a row and keep doing it over and over again. So,
Yeah. Any scary or life-threatening moments while in the wilderness?
well, 2 come to mind right off the top of my head. The first one was September 2018 in the Gila Wilderness. I went with a friend to do a backpacking trip. We were going to do 24 hours, but it turned into 3 days. We only had enough water for 24 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was a hot, humid September. On day 1, I got full-out heat exhaustion and vomited. I mean, I was doing pretty bad the first day. The second day, we slept on the side of a mountain, no tents, just on the ground. The second day, we're still trying to get to our location, and we ran out of water. I got full-out heat stroke on day 2. And at one point, I sat down to take a 5-minute break in the shade, and I didn't wake up for 90 minutes. And as a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't have woke up, but my friend, he was concerned because he was waiting for me down canyon for 90 minutes, thinking I was going to show up at any minute. And when he came back to check on me, I was unconscious, laying under an overhang of a rock. He couldn't get me to wake up at first. And then when he did, I was babbling and saying things that didn't make any sense. I was really mentally in a bad spot. So at that point, we both knew this is more than just exhaustion. You have heat stroke, you have extreme dehydration, because I went 21 hours without water. And I could tell you, I was never been so thirsty in my life as that moment. He went back to the top of the mountain with the phone where we had a connection at last. It took him a while to get back up there because it was steep, and we're not on a trail, we're bushwhacking. And so I was left alone in that overhang for about 5 to 6 hours, and I was in and out of consciousness that whole entire time. And I literally okay, this is it. I pushed myself too far. I'm going to be checking out. But I do remember having a moment where I was laying there under that overhanging rock trying to cool off from the heat stroke. And I remember looking out at the mountains and thinking, so beautiful here. If I die here, at least the view is good. And I know it seems funny now.
It seems funny, but it's
but
not,
in the moment,
no.
it brought me comfort. It was
Yeah.
weird. It was almost like I knew I was going to die, and I was okay with it, which is a weird thing.
Yeah.
The thing with that is, after about the 5th or 6th hour of being alone, I started thinking my friend had gone down a different part of the mountain and didn't know where I was. So when I finally woke up and I kept trying to stand, I kept falling over. And finally I was like, all right, this is do or die. If I don't do something now, I'm not going to make it out. So somehow I powered through. I climbed down a 50-foot rock wall, which was crazy. I don't remember doing that. I got to water. And I filtered water and I drank water. And then I filtered water for my friend when he came back, if he came back to where I was at. And he did. So I had a whole gallon ready for him. So in a way, I kind of self-rescued. The thing I learned from that experience was, when you think your tank is on empty and you have nothing else to give, you probably have 10% left still. Yeah. I had 10% left. And I was able to get to the water and self-rescue. Not to say that I completely self-rescued 100% of the day by myself. There was search and rescue that came in later that he had gotten in touch with. And my friend also was there to help me, and so they got in around midnight and they walked right past us. It was so dark, they didn't even see us. And we heard them yelling across the canyon. And finally we got to search and rescue. When they saw me up and walking around, they were really surprised, because they said, based on the description of where I was at physically in the moment, they said they were coming to rescue my friend and to retrieve my corpse. And we were having a hard time getting search and rescue to come in, because there was a bunch of search and rescue at that particular day all over the state. So we didn't get plan A, we didn't get plan B, we got plan C. We got people that hiked in that were volunteer firefighters from Silver City that didn't know us, came in to help us. And I can tell you that lifted my spirits, just knowing there were other people there that had some medical training. The dying of heat stroke and extreme dehydration, I don't recommend it. It sucked. Folks, if you're going to go outdoors, especially into the wilderness, and you're going to go, you might be sometimes 50, 60 miles or more from a hospital or a town, you have to approach all of it like it's dangerous. It doesn't mean that you have to be scared. It doesn't mean that you need to be overly cautious, but you really need to realize that when you're in the wilderness, you're out there 24 hours a day. You're exposed to the elements, to the weather. It could rain and flood and you're sleeping in a tent. It could snow and blizzard and you're sleeping in a tent. So, there's things that can happen that you don't see coming, but with the right experience, you learn how to do it, and you have the right gear as well. Almost any outdoor adventure can be safe. And I highly recommend getting out there. As I said earlier, nature for me is the best antidepressant. Yeah. The second incident was in the Green River in October 2023. And I have done the Green River. That was my third trip doing it, but I'd only done the first 2 times the upper 50 miles. This was the lower 50. So I was unfamiliar with that section of the river. On day 2, we got into some rough water, and there was a tight bend in the river at the same time and a rock wall. And the current pushed us into the rock wall. The boat flipped. I went in, my friend went in, all our gear went in. And while I'm under the water, it was deep, it was fast moving. and my right shoulder dislocated. So the situation went from really bad to worse all of a sudden because I couldn't use this right arm. And I didn't have my life jacket on. And legally on the Green River in Utah, you have to have it in the boat with you. You don't have to have it on your body. But I'll tell you, I'll wear one from now on anytime I'm on the water.
Absolutely.
After that.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely terrifying. Understand that you actually brought a clip connected to the Green River incident. Let's check it out.
When the canoe finally rolled over and we fell in the river, the first thing I noticed is I go under the water for 18 seconds the first time. The water was moving so fast and it literally pulled me under, and I was struggling to get my head above the surface. For some odd reason, while all this was happening, my right shoulder dislocated partially. This made swimming a lot more difficult, and is one of the reasons I yelled for help. I'll be honest here, folks. I was scared at this point and felt like I was in a bad situation that might not end well.
Okay, my shoulder dislocated.
So let this be a lesson. I should have been wearing my PFD instead of just having it in the canoe with me. It would have helped me get to the surface a lot quicker and helped me stay afloat too.
Wow, James, I wanted to jump in the river and save you. First of all, I'm glad you made it through that safely. You can really feel the weight of that experience watching the footage.
I would say it was probably one of the most intense moments of my entire life.
You can see that on your face.
You know, even the Gila wilderness, as intense as that was me slowly dying over 3 days. The river was dying quickly in the water. And as you saw in that clip, that water was deep, it was fast moving, and it just sucked me under. It was definitely, like I said, one of the most intense and scary moments of my life, for sure.
Yeah. What was a lesson that you learned from that?
From the Gila incident, I learned a very simple lesson, and that is plan the hike, hike the plan. When we realized we weren't hiking the plan, had we turned back to the truck at that point, the whole entire Gila incident wouldn't have happened. It would have been completely normal 24-hour trip. In a way, I'm glad it happened because it taught me a lot about myself. Now, with the Green River, we've kind of already touched what I learned there, and that is even if it's legal to just have the life preserver in the boat with you, it's not going to do you much good if you can't get to it in an emergency situation. But the lesson at the Green River was if I was wearing a life preserver and I went into the water, it would have made the dangerous situation a lot less dangerous. And there was definitely some PTSD from that situation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so after we got the boat unflooded and we bailed all the water out and got all the gear back in there, we didn't lose a lot of gear, thankfully. And even more importantly, we didn't lose any people. The gear can be replaced, the people cannot. If you go to my channel, folks, you can watch the entire video of the incident and the rescue afterwards. But my friend who, as soon as I yelled help, and when you watch the video, you'll see he gets to me with a life preserver in his hand in less than 30 seconds from the time I yelled help. As soon as he heard me yell help, he jumped out of his boat and swam to me. And that is an awesome friend. I still get a little choked up thinking about it because he put himself into a dangerous situation to help somebody else. And obviously the outcome was good because I'm here talking to you.
Yeah.
But in the moment, yeah, it was scary. And like I said, the lesson on that, folks, I can't tell you what to do, but me personally, I'm always going to wear a life preserver when I'm on any sort of boat, canoe, or watercraft from now on. That's just going to be me for my own safety. So, yeah.
Semper Paratus, as they say in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
At what point did the James Blackburn experience stop being just videos and start becoming a way of life for you?
The short answer of that is they've always been a way of life for me. I got my first camera on my 16th birthday, November 29th, 1986. My mom had asked me, what do you want for your birthday? And I don't know what it was. I had this feeling I wanted to do photography when I grew up as a living. Something attracted me to the camera. So she got me my first 35 millimeter camera. It was one of those little point and click cameras that cost like $10 at Walgreens back then. Nothing fancy, but it got me started. And I still have every roll of film, every negative I've ever taken back when we had negatives.
It's amazing.
But think about it, 1986 was 40 years ago now. I have 40 years of my life documented through still images and video that I'm going to use at some point for something. And I have used some of it. So that's pretty amazing. And, the cameras have changed a lot in 40 years, but the mission has never changed. My mission has always been, I want to document memories with cameras. And if I can make something entertaining and fun at the same time, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah, great. What adventures are coming next for viewers of the James Blackburn Experience?
New adventures. I've been working in the edit booth for a while on some brand new stuff.
Good.
As a matter of fact, coming soon and within the next week of this podcast, we're going to have a new episode released of San Pedro Parks Wilderness. We had talked about that earlier. I did a trip there with a friend, 4 days, 3 nights. It's going to be a 4-part miniseries. Each episode's about a half hour, and it documents our experience of going into the San Pedro Parks Wilderness when the weather was less than perfect. Day 1 was 65 and sunny. That was perfect.
Yes.
Day 2 and 3, it snowed a lot, and it snowed hard, a couple times almost blizzard-like conditions. But when you're 14 or 16 miles into the wilderness away from the trailhead in your vehicle, you have no choice but to just buckle down and just deal with the weather and hope that it passes. So yeah, that 4-part series will be coming up soon. And man, they are exciting and they're fun and a little scary because of the weather. But obviously we know there's a happy ending because I'm sitting here talking to everybody. So
looking forward to that. What do you think, or why do you think people connect with these videos?
One word why people connect with the videos, I think the word genuine comes up because the person you see on camera and the person you meet in real life, it's the same me. I don't have an on-camera personality. I'm just James all the time. Whether I'm sitting here talking to you on a podcast or I'm sitting at a restaurant talking to you, it's the same person. And I think folks can pick up sometimes when a persona maybe is fake online, or you're doing too much of your radio voice. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Like some people put that on. So I think people like my videos because they're genuine. I'm not fake. I don't create AI footage. It's all the real thing that I captured when I was in the field. And like I said earlier, I like to highlight the positive, but if I'm in an intense weather situation, I'm going to narrate what's happening. It may not be positive because the weather's negative, but the video's still positive.
Yes.
And you learn, yes, you can get through some tough stuff, especially if you got good family and friends with you.
That's awesome. Where can folks find out more about the James Blackburn Experience?
The first place you can find out more about the James Blackburn Experience would be on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in James Blackburn Experience. You'll find me. I have over 1,100 video adventures on there, and about 200 of them are pretty good. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram. I have all the basic accounts, and my official website, which is jamesblackburn.org.
James, thanks so much for sharing your amazing adventures. I'm glad you're still here to do that. Thank goodness.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness you have the mind to conquer those difficult situations. Again, you can find the James Blackburn Experience on YouTube and on the local Comcast channel 26. Also, you can find James on Facebook or his official website, jamesblackburn.org. I'm your host for Viva New Mexico, Jamie B.